Welcome into the NFL Pick Show for week number 9, presented by Pool Genius. My name is Spencer. I am joined by Jason Lisk, the lead analyst over at Pool Genius. Today, like we do every week, we're going to go through the top 5 game winner value picks, which includes 3 value favorites on this slate. Then Jason and I are going to give our favorite picks against the spread for this week, and we're going to finish it off with a teaser pick that we like for this week because there are a lot of teaser lines out there, and we found a couple that make sense to us. And in the game winner pick section last week, Jason, we had some pretty good results, especially in weekly prize pools. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and weekly prize for game winner. Now, spread pool is a different story. Our spread picks didn't do as good as our value picks last week. We saw the same dynamic across our data that people are reporting in. 38%, over 38% that have reported in so far this week reported winning a weekly prize last week in game winner pools. That's the highest number, if that holds, that we've seen since week 3, 2022. So doesn't come up often because let's say your chances of winning a weekly prize are about 5%. That's like 7x, 8x what a lot of people's real chances based on their pool size is. So that's a pretty good week. And what happened last week, right, is we had a bunch of value favorites, including the most notable one, Houston, who were very unpopular against the 49ers. Extremely unpopular, but were the favorite. And weird dynamic, but we actually didn't have like big upset plays in our weekly picks last week. Sometimes we do, but because of how it worked out last week, you could be on like the smaller favorites and get value. Houston, Baltimore after the Lamar was ruled out. They were a small favorite, but not real popular. And then the other one was Green Bay, right, at Pittsburgh. There was still enough Pittsburgh interest because what was happening, we think, is there were so many big favorites that people were picking the upsets in those games. And so this just goes to show you every week's different. And last week, just hitting a 3-game parlay on 3 short favorites ended up going 3-0. And because pretty much every other favorite won, and the only 2 that didn't were larger favorites that the dogs weren't real popular, so you weren't really killed if you were off of them. If you didn't pick the Bengals, it's not like there were a bunch of people picking the Jets to win, right? Or that there were a bunch of people picking the Dolphins to win. So those probably didn't beat you. And so, yeah, last week, all the results came in, that especially that big Houston win. But win weeklies, that's how you win, is you find that 2 or 3 or 4 game combo that is really either unpopular or and where you can get good leverage, like because you're on the favorites. But our data, if you used our data, only 7% of a typical of entries would have picked that same 3-game combo. So you're getting 3 favorites where only 7% of the pool would have gone 3-0 with you. And that's why we're seeing the win rates we're seeing.
Yeah, and so it really came down to those value favorites that we gave out on the video last week, and then parlaying that with basically Baltimore, which it was impacted by some late breaking news, and our models adjusted for that. So watching this video and then going through to our article and our tools to get that official pick recommendation on Sunday, that's sort of the recipe that led to a big week for those game winner weekly pools. So with that, let's get into the early value picks for week number 9. Remember, we are recording this on Wednesday, so lines may move, but this is sort of the general direction that we've seen so far in the week, and it might be where the public is leaning all the way up until kickoff. Of course, check our tools and articles for the NFL Pick'em and football picks page to get the most updated information. The first value pick, we have our favorite, the value favorites, Houston versus the Denver Broncos. They are favored by 1 here. Their win odds right at 50%. Pick popularity is only 25%. So you got Houston at home here. Do you like them as a value favorite in this spot?
Yes, given the dynamics. Now, this line has moved. Like, actually, I think Denver opened as the favorite when the lines first came out. So it went through 0. I mean, it's still near a pick 'em either way. It's gone from Denver being a very slight favorite to now Houston being a slight favorite. I like it less than the San Francisco game last week, given San Francisco's defense. I thought Houston was in a better spot, and I'm a little surprised it's as unpopular as it is. But I guess Denver did also win, and so maybe people just aren't believing in Houston. I think there are reasons to not believe that Houston's going to be a offensive juggernaut, but they still have a good defense at home, and they are at home against Denver. So I get why they are a slight favorite in this matchup. I would play them when only 25% is going with Houston this week.
Yeah, in this one for me, I think it comes down to where you are in your pool. If you're playing a season-long pool, just kinda keeping that into consideration. If you're up in the standings or you're winning that, maybe you don't need to go to Houston. I mean, I know that they're favored, a small home favorite in this, but if you have conviction on the Broncos, maybe you don't necessarily have to go there because there are other value spots, as we will mention here in a second. But, the second one on our list, we have Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. This one's a little bit surprising to me. Chiefs are favored by 1 on the road. The win odds right at 50% for Kansas City. Pick popularity only 29% for the Chiefs, which I really would have expected more, a little closer to 50-50 on this, especially the way the Chiefs are playing. But I guess I don't know if the public's taking this into account, but a short week on the road at Buffalo, maybe that has everyone leaning towards Buffalo. I can't really explain it. All I know is there's value on the Chiefs.
I think people just hate to pick the Chiefs now. I think there's just so much sentiment. No, I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I mean the Chiefs have. Let's be honest. We've had them power rated number 1 for now 3 weeks straight. People would have said that's controversial when they were 2 and 3. But getting Rice back, the offense is now at a better spot. They are rolling. This is the Mahomes of old. He threw more touchdown passes. He's back. It was a slog the last couple seasons, honestly. Last year is amazing. They made the Super Bowl and they had the year they did. This team's better. This team's better than that one. And I can make the argument the opposite way for Buffalo, which is why the Chiefs, despite it being on the road, are a slight favorite, is the Chiefs are power rated higher. And that home field advantage is making up some of that difference. But Kansas City's look like the better team for the first 8 weeks of the year on average. But this can go either way. But the fact that the public is breaking Buffalo, I mean, yeah, give me the Chiefs in a pick 'em pool in a weekly contest, particularly.
Yeah, in the third value pick here, we have another value favorite. It's the Chicago Bears on the road at the Cincinnati Bengals. The spread is anywhere from Chicago favored by 2 to 2.5. 52% win odds for the Bears. Pick popularity still around the 32 to 35% range in game winner pools. And before we got on the air here, as of Wednesday afternoon, Joe Flacco is questionable for the Bengals, which is a very big injury considering Jake Browning did not look good in this offense earlier in the year. You have to figure that line will move if Joe Flacco is ruled out. So keep an eye on that and keep an eye on the line and injury report. But how do you see this one as far as we can see it here earlier in the week?
I mean, if the pick percentage is going to come in where it's at, which is 35, on sub 40% on the Bears, I think even if Flacco plays, the Bears are the play, honestly, because I think that line is more like a pick 'em, and you're still not like Bengals favored by any notable amount because you still have the Bengals defense, that same Bengals defense that gave up big plays against the Pittsburgh Steelers late that could have cost them, that did give up scores. I mean, they let the Jets score 39 points, right? So, I mean, that's not on Flacco, and so he helped them get to the 38 and have the lead, but this Bengals defense, I mean, if not for the Cowboys' disastrous defense, we might be talking more about this Bengals defense and what a travesty it is, honestly. Now for 2 years straight. So I think I would like Chicago. Now, for those that watched our upset picks, I got my Sklansky dollars last week on taking Chicago when the money line was really high and people thought Jackson was playing. I didn't think that was going to be the case, and so I grabbed that value, and it ended up getting me nothing because then the Ravens went out and beat the Bears. So you could have that situation again, but the Bears should. I think this line closes over a field goal. So I think you're getting really good value. I would pick the Bears in value picks.
Yeah, and so those are 3 value favorites we've identified early in the week. There are 2 more. They're underdogs, but they're short underdogs of less than a field goal that could be potentially sneaky value in your game winner pools, depending on if you want to take that risk or not. The first one of those, we have the New York Giants. The spread is plus 2.5 for the Giants, hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Win odds for the Giants there, 47%. Pick popularity is only 24%. So do you like the Giants in the spot? I know they just lost at Philadelphia. Philadelphia ran all over them. And again, the 49ers did not look great last week either. That defense, it seems like the injuries are finally catching up to them. We don't really know about Brock Purdy as far as Wednesday afternoon here. Um, Plenty of injuries on that offense to go around too. So it's a big question mark. I mean, and you have the 49ers, their second straight road game, going all the way over to the East Coast at New York. So do you like the Giants as a dog here?
I do like the Giants as a dog. I mean, enough to definitely consider picking them at value in pools like this. I just mentioned the Bengals defense, the Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, San Francisco, I think when we look back, is going to be viewed that way because of the injuries. I mean, you can't. They've lost 2 All Pros this year in the last month, and I think it's starting to come to roost. They just gave up 475 yards to the Houston Texans, including over 300 yards passing. This Texans offense and offensive line had struggled all year. So they made that team look like one of the best offenses in the league. They are trying to do it with smoke and mirrors on defense. The Giants defense hasn't been great either. They got gouged on the ground. So the over may be attractive as well, but I do like the Giants' ability as a home dog here. I mean, they played well at home so far with Jackson Dart. And the fact that you bring a defense that is struggling like that, I think it's a way for this Giants offense for Dart to get comfortable.
Yeah, and that's another one that you're going to have to look at the injury report there, see if there's any line movement later in the week based on Brock Purdy's and other 49ers status. So the other pick we have here in our value pick section, the last one, we have the Arizona Cardinals, plus 2.5 at the Dallas Cowboys. This is a Monday Night Football game. Win odds for the Cardinals about 46%. Pick popularity around 23%. So we have the Dallas Cowboys we have 2 teams with the Cowboys, the road Cowboys and the home Cowboys, because they have struggled mightily on the road, including last week at Denver. Been a little better at home, but that defense hasn't really been better at home. Have Arizona off a bye. Are you taking your shot with the Cardinals here?
Yeah, you know what? This Dallas team, I'm sensing a theme here this week. Like maybe the public doesn't care about defense because all these value picks are going against teams that, to put it mildly, are struggling on defense. And so, yeah, you said there's 2 teams home and road, but there's definitely 2 teams, the Cowboys offense versus the Cowboys defense. This Cowboys defense just, I mean, consistently getting creamed. Their rushing yards over the last 5 weeks, 164 allowed, 164, 144, 216, 136, 179. So teams are just having so much success just moving the ball on the ground, which then opens things up through the air. They can't seem to get stops. And so do I have my concerns about Arizona with Kyler Murray? Yeah, they're coming off a bye. Jacoby Brissett seemed to unlock this passing offense in a way we hadn't seen from Murray. So what does that mean? But I still like Arizona as a slight road dog here, given, again, the state of the defense.
Yeah, so those are our 5 value picks in game winner pools for NFL Week 9. Let's move over to our favorite picks against the spread. I'm going to go first, and it is the Seattle Seahawks. You can still get -3 out there as of Wednesday afternoon. They have moved to 3.5 a couple of spots. I still like it at 3.5. Obviously, I would prefer the 3 if you can still find that. I know DraftKings had it last time I checked, but the Seahawks coming off a bye here, and you have the Washington Commanders. They're going to host the Seahawks, but coming off a short week, we don't know Jaden Daniels' status. There's a decent chance he plays. I believe that's baked into the line. I still think even though he plays, if he plays with that hamstring injury, I believe Seattle is the superior team here. Washington's defense just, I mean, you saw it on Monday night, couldn't get a stop. I mean, that was against Kansas City, so maybe a different thing there, but they have injuries to contend with as well. Seattle relatively healthy, coming off the bye. They've been solid on the road this season too, 3-0 straight up and against the spread on the road. I just like the spot for Seattle. I know it's probably going to be a public play, but I don't really care that much. I'll take the points and pick Seattle in this one on the road.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle, it's very possible they're still undervalued by the market. I mean, they are. I'm surprised this line. I mean, I think this line is somewhat baking in the Daniels risk. And so I don't know that moves a ton higher, but you can make the argument Seattle is probably just undervalued. And Washington could be overvalued because, like you said, Daniels hurt may not be what Daniels, the rookie, when he's not hurt, can do. And so for those reasons, I like that play. I'm going to go with another one with the quarterback situation. We just talked about it in value picks, but the Bears -2.5 because I think I like the chances of getting line value here at a key number. You're sitting right at 2.5. I think there's room for this line to move. I'm reading the tea leaves here again, trying to do that again with quarterback situations. I mean, Joe Flacco, an AC joint sprain at 40 years old in his throwing arm. Coach says he's 50-50 to play. I think it's less than that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and even if you try to gut it out, I mean, again, now I'm older than 40, but I'm just telling you, the fact that he's got an AC joint sprain in his throwing arm at his age is probably not a good thing for how he'll do, even if he tries to push through it. And then on the other end, we talked about the Bengals defense. I mean, whatever you think of Caleb Williams, this is a get-right game from a defensive perspective. We saw what this Bears team did against the Cowboys when he got to face a matchup where he had a very favorable defensive matchup and they rolled. I think they're capable of that against the right opponent, and I think the Bengals may be the right opponent. So I like getting the 2.5 because I think it closes over 3.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid pick, especially here on Wednesday. We'll have to see if that line moves at all, but as long as it's under 3, I think that's very much in play. So now let's wrap it up with our favorite teaser pick of the week. We're going to do a 2-team teaser, 6 points. Hopefully you can get -120 on that. If you're paying more than -120 on a 6-point teaser, don't do that. It should be -120. Find a different sports book if they're giving you worse odds than that. But for my teaser pick, I like the LA Chargers, and it really shouldn't come as a surprise because that line is -8.5 at the Tennessee Titans. You can tease it down to -2.5. So under a field goal, this Chargers team, I know they're on the road, but man, the Titans are about packing it up if they haven't already. Obviously fired their coach, then got mollywopped a couple times in a row.
They've been nothing but mollywopped all
The
year.
Jason Lisk mollywop special. That is the Titans right now. This Chargers team's looked good. They've really bounced back nicely. They've gotten some pieces back, especially on the offensive line. I think the Chargers go in there, take care of business. And I like the security of teasing it down just in case some weirdness happens and they don't cover the whole 8.5.
Yeah.
You only need them to cover a field goal here. So that's my teaser side. What's yours, Jason?
Yeah, I'll get to mine, but we should point out to our users that maybe aren't as experienced with teasers. Most of your best teaser lines are going to be on the other side of the key number if you can pass through those key numbers. So one of the reasons this is attractive, because this line was at 10 not too long ago. You don't want to tease it at 10 with the same philosophy that gets you to 4, but you can get under a field goal where the Chargers need to win by a field goal at 2.5. That's what, if you find that number, that's what you want to get. I'm surprised they're offering it, to be honest with you. I'm surprised the line, because of the teaser market, hasn't just stayed at 9 or 9.5, but it's dropped to 8.5. And as long as it's there, look for it. Going the other way, if you're on a dog, you probably want to get a low number under a field goal that you can move above both 3 and 7. And so that's where I'll focus this week is, my Chiefs are playing at Buffalo, and depending on what you're looking, this line might be 1, might be 1.5, might be 2. If you can get it at 2, I like going to 8. You're basically buying one score game between two of the top contenders in the AFC. Bills have won these games in the regular season. I don't think that means that they're automatically going to win, but I do think Josh Allen at home going against a revved up Chiefs offense is going to be ready to lay it all on the line. I think this is a close game. I think getting a teaser number that buys you that close game and pushes you above 7 is a way to go.
Yeah, if you tell me I can tease up to +8 for either of these teams,
yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say that's definitely in play as a teaser. And it just so happens it's Buffalo at home this time, so I like that even more. As we mentioned earlier, Kansas City on a short week. We do like them in the game winner pools, getting value there, but it's all about the value that you get, and teasing up through those key numbers for Buffalo definitely presents a unique value case here. So Buffalo +8, LA Chargers -2.5. That's what we're setting for our teaser of the week. So that wraps up our NFL picks episode. Go ahead and check out our upset picks of the week. We will drop that in a separate video, and you can also sign up for those upset picks in the newsletter pinned in the comments below. So good luck with your NFL picks for week number 9.